No gigments, no distraction, just pure unfiltered sport action.
Diogo Dallo, who pulls the ball then that is outstanding!
Make the P&B Sports Show part of your weekday routine.
Philogene in the penalty area, twisting and turning. He tries to flick it towards goal.
Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. Make the P&B Sports Show part of your weekday routine.
Into Osimhen.
Third hour of fearless opinion, heated debate, and non-stop football conversation. Weekdays at 9 a.m., Saturdays at 1 p.m. Saturdays at 1 p.m. Stay ahead of. Football takes center stage once again on Balls of Fire, and today we will have a packed show with drama, emotion, and major talking points. I'm Abel Sunday, and joining me from Port Harcourt is the insightful Jackson Caleb. We'll begin with the Wafcon 2026. 2023 as Morocco and Algeria prepare to battle for bronze after heartbreaking semi-finals exit. Who has the greater motivation to finish the tournament on a high? Then is the big one, Malawi against Cameroon in the Wafcon finals. Malawi have made history by reaching their first ever finals, while Cameroon are chasing continental crown. Can the Chewenge lead all that and more and much more coming your way? This is Balls of Fire.
Into Osimhen.
30 minutes of breaking headlines, in-depth analysis, match preview, and the stories every sport fan needs to know. And when Saturday is Balls of Fire reaching live from the nation's capital, and then I've been joined by the ever insightful Jackson Caleb, all the way from Port Harcourt, the Oyo City. Caleb, good afternoon, and I think Port Harcourt is shining, right?
It's quite a fair weather, so I think we'll give credits to that. It's quite fair and everything is running smoothly.
And you're looking, and of course, you are versus Morocco. And if you recall, these two sides met in the group stage, and then somehow, the Moroccans were able to find their way to get all 3 points in that encounter. But again, it's a rematch. Can we say that God has given the Algerians, the Moroccans were able to find their way to get all 3 points in that encounter? But again, it's a rematch. Can we say that God has given
African derby? Because these are two sides in the North African part of. These are the two things in North Africa that have come up with technical football, that have come up very strong. And then again, sides in the North African part of. These are the two things in North Africa that have come up with technical football, that have come up very strong. And then again, of bringing the game to you. And then again, on the Moroccan side, we can see the likes of Ujrawi, the likes of Seget, Chibak, the likes of Masudi, who unfortunately is going to miss this game due to a card. And then again, the Benzini, who was hurt by definitely missing out on the final because she has missed out on three chances to win. Benzini, who was hurt by definitely missing out on the final because she has missed out on three chances to win the World Cup. Starting, the Algerian side are a side that are technically gifted. This is a side that has the ability on the ball. This is a side that we've seen throughout this tournament, different occasions where they played the quick 1-2, their smoothless transition. That is how we've known this Algerian side. I've particularly took interest in two players, like I've already mentioned. I think on this as a team, they've not lacked compactity. They play fluently on the ball. When you look at them, they are not scared of taking those risks. They are not also scared of losing the ball. They are not scared of taking those risks. They are not also scared of losing the ball because they have the ability to win the ball back. That's on the Algerian side. But then again, you look at this Moroccan side, who have a very technical side. This Moroccan side, there is hardly any difference to this list than we have seen from when we watched the last encounter. The Moroccan side, we have not known them for anything. Change that perspective. They will be willing to change the dimension of that thing. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying because
Yeah,
what I'm saying because
yeah.
the Moroccan
And of course, sure when this WAFCON started, but right now I think they are a team that you have to take very serious look at, just like the Malawians. Before you say Jack Robinson, they're already in the finals. So short term, of course, he lost last time to Justin Madugu, and this time again he lost at the semi-finals to the coach of the Indomitable Lioness of Cameroon. But looking at him, how much of a tactics do you think he can deploy to this game? And looking at the coach of the Indomitable Lioness of Cameroon. But looking at him, how much of a tactics do you think?
both of them know how to play the game from the midfield. Similarly, both of them play the game from the midfield. So it's going to be a start third place match and then for the midfield of Morocco, I think we are going to see them try and press more. They are going to make use of the 4-3-3 is going to be more of a two center, an attacking and a center mid, which means both of them might have to press higher up. Because if you watch the Moroccan game, normally Chibak is the one who stays higher up, and then the remaining center midfielder and the defensive try to play the pivot. But looking at it today, I think it's going to put the defensive because we are going to see Morocco trying to put in more pressure. Midfielder and the defensive try to play the pivot. But looking at it today, I think it's going to put the defensive because we are going to see Morocco trying to put in more pressure. Midfielder and the defensive try to play and have an extra man in between the lines. And it also makes their transitions quick and fast. Because one thing about the Algerians, like you rightly said, is that before you even say Jack Robinson, they are already at your 18 yards. So I think
3 times in a row. The first two, they got to the finals and they lost it. This time around, they lost semi-finals, which is very disappointing. And I think that under more intense pressure to finish this game or finish this tournament, what will be your prediction on this game? Let me put you on the spot. Should I say this should be the icing on the cake?
Looking at it, it takes a lot of experience to have the nation and taking a look at their performances so far. I think it's something worth reckoning for each and every one of them that say, all right, let's give them solidarity. And then again, the Chawiga sisters, like we always mention, they come to the light when we need them the most. So we'll be looking at them going to come to the spotlight today because it is the grand stage of the Wafcon. And then again, for Temwa Chawinga, she will be looking to get the goal. At least that will put her a spotlight above Barbara Banda, who is one of the world's recognizable female players in the Wafcon. And then again, for the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon, their compatibility is something that the Malawian side should look at very well. But it's not easy to break down this Cameroonian side, just like we've said. This Cameroonian side are a very solid thing. I mean, we saw the performance they gave against Morocco. So definitely, they will not be willing to drop the intensity on their performances. And for me, it's something that I think this game will have a lot of physicality to it because the Malawian side, they also press with so much physicality. They run tirelessly from minute 1 to minute 90, always coming crunchy tackles. We've seen some of the tackles that have gotten some of their players out. But you see the energy that they play with. Even the Cameroonian side, they have record an average of 2 yellow cards per game, which also shows you that these players also come tackles and a lot of challenges. So this game will bring a lot of physicality to it. But I'm not really sure that the Malawian side can handle the pressure. Yes, to be honest, playing the Super Falcons as an opening tournament was enough pressure on them. And then again, the world wrote them off. A lot of people didn't see that win coming, to be honest. I didn't even see Malawi coming up with a 3-0 win for the first 70 minutes. So that is something that alone in itself is a historic record for them. Now, coming into the first quarterfinal, they were able to play and then gave Algeria a good run of their pay. We didn't even see them that they would be able to play this game very well, but they won comfortably. So that is something that, again, puts them on the world record. going to your first Wafcon finals in the first Wafcon debut. Wow, that's something that I mean the whole world should remember.
Yeah.
I think Cameroon gathered a lot of experience. To be honest, the Tabitha sisters might not be able to get them over the line, although they might, do enough justice. But I'm not 100% convinced that they will be able to get them over the line. Remember, we have a certain Mikel Bihani who is in the tournament of her life. Can she come to Cameroon's rescue today? So this is another thing that we'll be considering today on the game. So
Yeah.
I mean the final is one of the games that have a lot of tech to it. But if I'm to actually look at the tactics to be deployed, Malawi will want to put the pressure first. They will want to take the game to Cameroon, like we've seen them do in their previous game. They always take the game to their opponent. So I think Malawi will want to take this game to their opponent, and Cameroon, on the other hand, will want to take this game out from the midfield.
Yeah, okay, good. But Cameroon have experience of big games. Why I said that is because they played against the biggest team so far in this tournament. They took out Nigeria. They took out Morocco, which are, in fact, two strong favorites of this tournament. They took out those two guys. And looking at the experience, the difference in the finals, and Morocco also have also been to the finals as well. If you remember, they've been to the final with Nigeria. I think Nigeria won that one against them. So they have rich experience when we talk about AFCON. And playing a Malawian side that this is the first time that they are coming in. But of course, no disrespect to Malawi, because for them to get to the finals, of course, they have what it takes to win the tournament. Because if anybody could, even if you have to maneuver your way to get to the finals, you have what it takes to win that championship. But looking at Cameroon's experience and taking out these big guys, don't you think that that alone is a fair factor and a big morale booster for the indomitable Lioness of Cameroon?
Definitely, just like we've mentioned, their experience counts, and for a final, one of the things that adds plus mark to you is your experience gathered by the players you acquire. So I think that would be one of the boosts to this Cameroonian side, is the confidence that they speak of after facing big nations, and of course coming out top with the results. So I think that would be the fear factor that Malawi would be having on their necks. That this is a side that have faced every side you can think of, and they have come out top with the result.
Top with the result. But Caleb, how important will be Plan B? If the Chawinga sisters I'm talking about the Chawinga sisters, if they are being sidelined, what do you think the Malawians will do? Because if they had to shut down the Chawinga sisters, which have been making waves around this tournament, what do you think they will have another route to use or to execute in this game? If you remember the Brazilian game against I think Norway was able to shut down Vinicius Junior, that has practically carried Brazil, my own opinion though, carried Brazil on his shoulder from day one to where they were on round of 16, and they lost that game 2-1 to Brazil. I'm just trying to make references now. If that should happen and the Chawinga sister were cut off from the supply, what is the plan B that you think the Malawians are going to use?
The plan B that I think the Malawians can definitely go to would be, outside the box shots, because that's something that I think that their games consist of right now. I've seen their players take a lot of shots from outside the box, although they are not perfectly executed, but most at times the attempt is often than not. So I think that would be something they will be looking at, because if I want to say set pieces, this Cameroonian side come out the top in set pieces. You cannot easily defeat them from set piece, knowing that Mikel Bihani comes out and claims every ball she attempts to go. So she comes out with confidence, high risk, and she claims her ball. Not only that she comes out, she doesn't lose those balls. So if you say set pieces, I don't think set pieces work best for them. I think more or less those outside shots, those dead ball situations where maybe that 1 minute where Cameroon is because if you watch the game against Algeria, I could see some of those passes that nobody expects, and they were able to do that against Algeria. So I think those second run, that's the right word to use. The second run will be the best option because definitely Chelsea will be looking to make those diagonal runs. So if someone can run in behind, it will also be a good plan B for the Malawians to come up with. Because these Chaminga sisters, they are not only good at converting, they are also good at playing cup play. So if you can work well with them and get those ones shut down, you are also taking your eyes definitely off the other players who have those second IQ to make those runs and finish well.
Okay, good. That's good. But Jackson, who is lifting the trophy? Malawi's fairy tale, or do you think the experience and pedigree of Morocco can also take it? Is it the looking at what is going to we are going into the final? I just want to get your own take on that quickly. Do you think Malawi can actually lift it, or let me say prediction? Let me also go straight to the point. Let me not garnish it. Let me go straight. Who do you think is going to win, and what is the scoreline?
For scoreline, I will not say anything about the scoreline because scoreline might vary. But for me, I think Cameroon leads this trophy. In as much as the Malawian side have shown convincingly enough, I think this Cameroonian side have a structure that can shut down any attack you want to bring. Scoreline. This is tough. Let's say 1-0. I'll say a 1-0 or 2-1. 1-0 or 2-1. Cameroon wins the game.
1-0 or 2-1. Cameroon is not a high scoring side, and I think this game we are looking at one of the best defense so far and one of the best goalkeepers so far against one of the best attack as well in the tournament. So we're going to see how he's going to pound out. I think it's going to be very interesting. But let's see what happens. Of course,
it might take us to extra time.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. And I think the Indebutable Lioness are very, very disciplined behind there. Very, very disciplined, and they have a very good goalkeeper that can also salvage the game if at all it gets to penalty kicks. So let's see what happens. But it's time for us to go on a short break. When we come back, we will be talking about the Chinedu or Uzo strategy that happened, the Castina United defender that slumped during their preseason game. But when we come back, we'll discuss all about that. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. No digments, no distraction, just pure unfiltered sport action.
Diogo Dalot pulls the ball then. That is outstanding.
Make the P&B Sports Show part of your weekday routine.
Philogene in the penalty area, twisting and turning. He tries to flick it towards goal.
Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. Make the P&B Sports Show part of your weekday routine.
Into Osimhen.
30 minutes of breaking headlines, in-depth analysis, match preview, and the stories every sport fan needs to know. And when Saturday arrives, we take things to another level. Get ready for Balls of Fire every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. One explosive hour of fearless opinion, heated debate, and non-stop football conversation. Weekdays at 9 a.m., Saturdays at 1 p.m. Stay ahead of the... Welcome back. It's still Balls of Fire, reaching live from the nation's capital. And my guest has always been the insightful Jackson Caleb, joining us virtually from Port Harcourt, the oil city. But till now, we've not seen our own cup of oil. Is it cup or drum or bucket of oil? You've not given us till now, but you're just making promises. But no problem. They say when you make promises, we'll have the patience to wait. Anytime, whether it's 10 years' time, whether it's 20 years' time, your promise will be redeemed. Right?
Exactly. That's why the man full of promise is the man who has potential capacity of feeling them.
Well, you can go on, Pastor. Go on, right on, Pastor. Okay, Caleb, let's dive into this. I think this is a sad one for Nigerian football. Within the week, we had the news broke out. Chinedu Uzo, the Casina State United, Casina United player got slumped during their pre-season game, and they rushed him to the hospital. The story is just somehow rushed him to the hospital, tried to take him to the mortuary. They found out that his body is still shaking. They confirmed him dead. They found out that his body is still shaking. They had to rush him down to the intensive care unit, and from there he was on coma, and finally we had the news that, of course, he couldn't make it. But Chinedu's all sudden death has shocked Nigerian football. Was this strategy meant for the football community? Because looking at it, what do you think we should do more? Should we say our health, our medical facilities through this is not really that given? Let me get your take on that.
I cannot blame the medical facilities for these deaths. To be real frank, I don't think I can put that level of blame on the medical facility, because they always conduct series of tests, like before you come back for the season, they always carry out the series of tests, especially on your cardiovascular, and most players at times seem to pass this test. So I think it is always a case of, sometimes it is what we call a natural disaster, because sometimes you can't just see it coming, or you can't really expect it, and then it just pops up and happens. But however, at the same time, I would want our medical facilities to grow, especially with the way we conduct our tests.
I'm sorry to interject. Sorry to interject there. Caleb, if you say you don't really fault this, if I can take your mind back to Christian Eriksen, he played for Manchester United, I think he played for Tottenham as well. When he had that issue, when he slumped on the field, I bet you, I think that happened here or anywhere in Africa, I think that guy would have gone. I'm telling you, sorry to say this, but I think that guy would have been a dead. In fact, let me not use that word. I think I'm on air, so there's some word that we cannot use. But looking at what happened, I think it's something that is possible that this guy would have been able to survive if we have a stricter medical facilities or protocol within screening within the system, and of course, if you can have what they call first aid, because sometimes first aid matters. What do you do? If you recall during the Christian Eriksen case, they said the captain, the way he placed the head was just that was the saving grace. Why don't we teach our players some of these first aid, all these things, before the medical personnel will arrive the scene, and they were able to cover that area? But let me get your take on that. Continue. You can talk on. You can continue on your. I just want to chip in this before you continue on your submission.
Then on that note, I think I can actually go with you, because when I was actually having a discussion with a friend of mine, and then he actually made the same statement about Christian Eriksen, and I think this now calls on us. It now boils down now to do better. Not just as a footballing nation, but we have to teach our players to rightly say like you. And first aid in Nigeria, sorry to say, most times water. When somebody is there, just say pour water in the head, or they say you spray, what do you call it? Spray that pepper spray on
deep heat. You spray deep heat. Or they'll now use their jersey to be fanning the person somehow. But you will see the crowd. But a lot of I think what is even trending now, a lot of people will bring out their phones and they'll start to video. That is what they do. They want to get content from it. They'll start to video what is going on, and which is not supposed to be so.
Before you even start videoing, I think, like you said, the players should take the first responsibility and try and attend medically to those players. If you look at the case of Christian Eriksen, even when they surround him with a loud circle,
yes,
so that air can still enter.
Yes.
And then again, you can also give him CPR. I mean, you can try pressing the heart to make sure that the beat of the heart compresses, because sometimes, with the way these players play, they pile up pressure with their heartbeat. I'm sorry to say, again, our nutrition matters, because imagine after you play now, and the next thing you go to take is rice and stew, which is oil, and before your next game, you take like jollof rice, which contains oil. So when you are playing, you are trying to also burn out those oil, and then again, it piles pressure on the heart, and even with the blood circulation. So some of these things amount to what causes this, cardiac arrest and cardiovascular attacks, or what you call it. I think we need to also look into our nutrition, as a team. We need to look into our nutrition and try and help these players balance on their nutrition and their playing life. But then again, I think our medical facilities need to improve the speed. They need to improve the speed of attention and care that they give to these players, because I saw a video actually of I think there was also a case of a player that had cardiac arrest, and he also passed on the field in Benin City. And that incident really hurt me so much, because it was one of those games that I was actually privy to, although I was not there when they announced his passing. But I just saw when he slumped, and then they came to attend to him. They had to call for ambulance, like they were making calls for ambulance. So some of all those minutes that are being wasted could also affect the lifespan of these players. But as far as it's me, it is a caution that should apply, and this should, call for tighter measures for the Nigerian Football Professional League Federation.
Indeed. And how prepared are Nigerian clubs to even respond to medical emergencies on the pitch? How many of even our clubs have the ambulance that you're talking about? Most of these clubs in Europe, okay, though we cannot compare our clubs with the ones in Europe because of probably the financial implication in it. But again, even if it is small like even if it is a station wagon, we used to have station wagon as ambulance now, right? You can just see, even if it's station wagon, just have a small something that you can use. For Christ's sake, I don't think that's too much to get as a club with what is coming in. I think that I think the clubs need to step up, because it's their responsibility, it's their player first and foremost, and the league need to, and the league body need to have, they need to get provide an enabling environment for these people to strive, and also for to protect each of these players, because we cannot be losing players like this because of medical what. But that comes down to corruption. Yes, it will not bring you down to corruption, because if it's not corruption, the league should be moving as it's supposed to be. Do you get? But that's it. But what responsibility should clubs and football authorities take in protecting players' health? Let me get your response on that before we move to the transfer markets.
Okay, so in a minute, I think it is a shared responsibility. I will not just solely align it to one. I will not just say the clubs should take the full responsibility, but then again, the board, the chairman board of the football should also make sure that these requirements are firmly put in place. This is why we have holidays, so that reviews can be made, suggestions and improvements always be made on these things. And like we rightly said, I think the standard of checkups of players needs to improve. I was watching a video the other time on YouTube, and how they conduct, some of these checks on players, mostly in the Serie A. They have these machines that when they check your sprinting, they check how your heart responds to 5-meter sprint, 10-meter sprints, 15-meter sprints. So some of these machines, we can actually get them involved and help our players, so that we tell them, okay, don't run at certain paces like this. This is how you can also save your life. Because sorry to say, football moves on even if you die, because the whole world will not stop. Or football will not stop if you die. So sometimes we too have to take precautionary measures and say, okay, run at this measure, or if we notice that your heartbeat always rises at certain times, we can rest you for like 2 games, so that your heartbeat, blood circulation take time, run at a certain beat and temperature, so that when you come back, you come back fresher, and then you're able to maintain that pressure. So just like we round up saying, I think it is a collective responsibility between the clubs and the Nigerian Professional Football League Board.
All right, it's a collective responsibility. And from here, from us at P&B, we want to say rest in peace to our one and our very bright and brighter player, Chinedu Uzo. Say rest in peace. May God grant him. They have to rest well, and the family as well, to bear the loss. So we'll be going on a short break. When we come back, definitely we'll be going to the transfer market, which is the last segment of this show. And don't go anywhere. Can I be said, get that covered? And because yesterday was running around the globe to get these 5 names for us, which are one of the top transfer targets at the market yesterday till now. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We're bringing you the biggest headlines match analysis, and expert analysis from the world of sport.
Unbelievable! It's Rodri! Manchester City are on their way!
From football to basketball to athletics, from outdoor sports to indoor sports, we all got you covered. Stay with us as we break down the latest results.
And as we dive into the major sports stories making waves globally and locally.
Oh, he's taken it!
We are home of everything sports, only on Politics and Business Television. We're bringing you the big.
Welcome back. It's still Balls of Fire reaching you live from the nation's capital. Caleb, the transfer market, I think is still buzzing. Even we know that by end of August, the window should be shut. And club football will soon be back again. And a lot of excitement from fans. And clubs are also doing business to see how they are going to, they are going to strengthen their team. But the first one we have on our list here was your retirement's 35 million pound from Aston Villa to Manchester United. Can you give us details about that transfer, please?
Sorry, before we run into the transfer market, I want to remind us that the Turkish league has started, and our very own prominent, our very own superstar Osimhen has delivered 1 goal already. So I think that's something that we should keep in mind. On Monday we'll talk about that, but let's remember that Osimhen has already delivered 1 goal for the season already.
But before we go into Euro's transfer news, what is the problem with? I think Osimhen should be in the conversation of transfer saga. Like we have to be. Do you get? Most of these clubs should be looking for a player like Osimhen, but why is it that Osimhen is just still somewhere at Galatasaray? Nobody is talking about him. Could we say it's because he's not a white? I don't want to use that word, but is that the case? Why is it that with that kind of talent, nobody is talking about him? No coach wants to use him.
To be very honest, some of these things boil down to color and the rest of that. Irrespective of what you want to see, racism is something that cannot be completely cured, but we try as much as possible to mitigate it. The number 2 effect is the clauses that are included in this contract. As at the time Chelsea wanted to sign Osimhen, Chelsea was trying to reduce the number of players that were paid above 200, and Osimhen was wanting a fee at about 200k pounds weekly, and that was the reason why Chelsea could not get him. Meanwhile, we had the certain James earning 240. We had Sancho who was on loan earning about 180. So you could see that sometimes when you have clubs that are going to protect these players and give them all they want just them to perform, then I think it's best that you let them remain there, because even looking at the Arsenal deal, I honestly don't think it's going to come true, because Arteta now would be considering his pockets. If it was a team like Man City who would be willing to break the bank again, I think maybe we wouldn't have problem with that. But we know Arsenal as that team that certainly likes to protect their pockets. And then again, to be really honest, the Galatasaray fans and the team as a whole, they love and value the influence that Osimhen has on them. So honestly, I think it would be nice if he remains there for, even if it's 1 season longer. The right time will keep coming. Hopefully, even Madrid can come calling. As far as they are able to deliver what he wants, then he's ready to move.
But he's not getting any younger. But let's go to the your retirement transfer to Manchester United. So how do you see that one?
This is one of the moves that Manchester United needs, because in the last 2 years, we've complained of the midfield issues of Manchester United. Certain coaches have come in but have not been able to perform. We saw the likes of Scott McTominay, we saw the likes of Fred, we even saw the likes of Frank Pogba. But then again, after the departure of these players, only Bruno Fernandes has remained at his top class. Casemiro was able to find his form again the last season, but unfortunately he's out on free transfer and he's straight into Miami. So this move strengthens the midfield of Manchester United, and the quality of the player who we call Yuri Tielemans. One of his abilities in long range shots, making the line passes. So those are things that aid the transition, because Manchester United, as we know them, is a team that plays quick counter football. So when you have those players who are able to scan the lines and able to give a pass that breaks those passes, so I think it's one of those transfers that will definitely benefit Manchester United in certain ways.
Okay, quickly, we'll have like 3 minutes. I don't know how we're going to run through this. Trevor Chalobah, 36 million, Chelsea to Como. How do you see that? Quickly.
As a Chelsea fan, it is very painful to let Trevor Chalobah go. Trevor Chalobah has been with us for 9 years. We saw him coming through the academy. We even lost him to Crystal Palace, and out of difficulties with our centre backs, we had to recall him, and he was willing to also come. So that shows you that he was ready to play for the badge. But sometimes financial incurements have to be made, and we have to let players go just to let new ones come in. So it's really a sad one for us. But then again, Tokomo is an advantage because he plays football on the ground. He's a very solid defender, and Syria goes with aggressiveness. So I think he will be also helpful to fit into their style of football. Mind you, Congo is going to Champions League, so I think it's a very good one for them.
All right, it's a very good one for them. Then let's go to Ismail Sabiri, 55 million pound PSG to Bayern Munich. How about this one? What do you say about this transfer? Is it a good business for Bayern?
Just correct. It's PSV, and
PSV. Sorry, yeah, PSV. Sorry.
And then again, we talked about this guy during the World Cup analysis. This is somebody that puts Morocco on the map. Then again, scoring 4 goals in 4 matches. So I think he's somebody that definitely will bring in more, not really experience, but he will definitely add to the goal scoring tally of this team, because as company said, he will be willing to go for all competitions and get the best out of all of them. So when you have a team that rotates between Kane and Ismail Sabiri, remember, we also saw Harry Kane playing as a number 10 for some games in the Bayern Munich. So Harry Kane can also play as a 10, where we see Ismail Sabiri playing as a 9. Ismail Sabiri can also play as a left winger, which also brings versatility to this squad. So I think it's a very good one, given the system of the possession and the quick transition that Vincent Kompany brings to his team.
Indeed, but Ferran Torres, 50 million pounds, Barcelona to PSG. Come on, do you think this guy actually? Sorry, let me get your take on it. Do you think this guy actually worth 50 million pounds, Ferran Torres from Barcelona? Because I've not seen what he has done in Barcelona.
He actually worth the 50 million, to be really honest. Remember, he was the highest goal scorer for Barcelona in the previous season. In this season that just finished, and also he scored the winning goal for Spain in the World Cup. So having those moments, all of them amount to, and then again he gave the assist against Portugal, the assist to Merino against Portugal. So you see, these little movements of clinical ability to mount up his market value to 50 million. But then again, my own question that we should even be asking ourselves, this was the time for him to stay in Barca and become the main striker. So why leave at this point? Because Barca is definitely in the Champions League, and they definitely gotten Anthony Gordon, who left Newcastle to Barca. You have Karim Adeyemi, who also came to Barca. And then again, Rafinha is back from injury. So all of this squad boost, and then again, your position as the number 9, it's untouchable.
Are you not aware that PSG is going to win the next Champions League? So they are going. So he want to go and win Champions. Let him go there. Let him go and win the Champions League.
I honestly don't think that PSG will win, although they might try. But then again, I don't think they will outrightly come out as the winners this time, because football has a way of doing its magic. But if they do, credit to them. But my own is that as a player, sometimes your ability to struggle makes you come out, because you cannot say that Ferran Torres is going to bench Ousmane Dembele. He's not going to bench Ousmane Dembele. He's not going to bench Kvaratskhelia. The highest thing that may happen is that they might have to shift Zayadou back to the number 10 role in the midfield, which means that you're going to have to bench Zayadou. That's not going to work anyway.
Okay.
So, however,
Okay. Quickly, because we are running. In fact, they are telling me to run out of the studio already. Quickly, in 10 seconds, Mike Adult, 55 million pounds Ajax to PSG. Quickly, in 10 seconds, quick, as we leave the studio.
This is a 10/10 signing because I don't know if you remember the game against USA. I was saying that one of the things that hurt me the most. Okay, no, not USA. The game against Spain. I was recalling one of the mistakes that were made. That this guy was left out of the Belgium national squad, having come in with about 21 GA from Ajax, and he was one of the young rising stars. He's even in the golden race award for the young Ballon
All right, unfortunately, we ran out of time, and that's why we draw the curtain on another explosive edition of Balls of Fire. From the battle for Wafcon bronze to the match, the most anticipated final between Malawi and Cameroon, the heartbreaking loss of Chinedu Uzo, and the latest transfer market movement. We have covered the biggest talking point. A big thank you to our insightful guest from Port Harcourt, Jackson Caleb, for joining us and bringing depth to the conversation. Thank you so much, Jackson, for doing this with me today.
Like I say, it's always a pleasure to be back on the P&B show, and in a good one. Thank you guys for having me here, and God bless the soul of Chinedu Uzo. Hopefully, we'll be back again on Monday.
All right. I'm Abel Sunday. Thank you for watching Balls of Fire. Follow us across all social media platforms on YouTube and Facebook at Politics&BusinessTV.English, on IG at PNBTV_English, and on X at PNBTV_ENG. You can also watch us on Free TV or download the Free TV app from your device Play Store for uninterrupted access to all our programs.